Hi everyone, it's Athena here from Courage Coaching. I hope you're well. Now the topic of today's video is going to be about 20 different categories of toxic relationships. Now this doesn't mean that the person that you are having a relationship is necessarily narcissistic, but in some of these cases that is the case. And the point of this video is to help you make a decision if at some point you feel that you are struggling in the relationship that you are in. And it's all about letting go. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave the relationship, but what it means is that you have to detach emotionally and be aware of your limitations to retain your personal, physical, or emotional health. The first type of toxic relationship is one that is very difficult to let go of because it feels addictive. Now this one is a huge one, and I would say that this type of relationship does usually involve some sort of trauma bond. So it could be that you're with a narcissistic partner, and some people may think, oh, it's just a passionate relationship. Well, no. Healthy relationships are not addictive. Healthy relationships are equal, are stable. You want to be with the other person, but you don't constantly feel a pull towards the other person. You miss them, but you don't feel like you're going crazy without them. The second one is when the other person in the relationship is emotionally unavailable to you. Now, what is emotionally unavailable? This might mean, for instance, that you're with someone who doesn't want to commit. It might mean that you're with someone who only wants to be intimate on his or her terms, but ignores you the rest of the time. It might be somebody who has other partners. It might be somebody who wants to be in an open relationship and this isn't something that you feel comfortable with. Or it might just be that somebody is rebounding and they aren't over their ex and you're just the rebound, basically. So that's the second type of toxic relationship. The third is when the other person is coercive, threatening, or intimidating to you. Now, in this case, I would say that this probably is a narcissistic partner. So this is a toxic relationship that you should get out of as quickly as you can. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel comfortable, then get out of this relationship. The same goes with number 4, when the other person is punitive or abusive towards you. Once again, this partner is probably narcissistic. So in this case, you should get out of the relationship. Number 5 is when the relationship is non-productive and non-reinforcing for you. Now that is a very clear type of relationship. If you don't feel that your relationship is productive, if you don't feel positive in it, then it is not a relationship which is good for you. Number 6, when the other person is smothering you, when the other person is overly dependent on you. Now, sometimes in partnerships, there is a bit of dependence, and that is okay. But as long as this changes over time, and then the roles are reversed, it's okay. Now, number 7 is that in this case, you are the one that's overly dependent on the other person. Again, this isn't healthy. Number 8, a relationship in which you notice that you are a chronic fixer, rescuer, or enabler. This isn't healthy, and this will end up wearing you down over time. So number 9, this relationship, your obligation and your loyalty will not allow you to let go. Number 10, in this relationship, the other person appears helpless, lost, or out of control. Now, in a relationship where the other person is self-destructive or suicidal, then yes, they would need your support, but you also have to support yourself. Another difficult one is when the other person has an addictive disease. Unfortunately, addiction, whether that is drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, it could be so many different things. If this addiction is taking over this person's life and it's impacting your relationship, then it might be a good idea that you remove yourself from the relationship, or that you detach, you take some time out and you look after yourself, and then you go back to the relationship and see whether you can salvage it. Now, in a relationship where you are being manipulated or conned, I would say get out. This person is most likely narcissistic and will harm you further down the line. Now, if you are only with somebody because you feel guilty, and that is the only thing that prevents you from detaching or letting go, then again, that is not a healthy partnership to be in. Guilt shouldn't be the motivating factor of being with somebody. You should be with somebody because you want to be. You should be with somebody because you are happy to be with that person. Now, a relationship in which you have a fantasy or a dream that the person is going to change to be what you want them to be, or that the person changes and goes back to what they were at the beginning of the relationship, is a relationship that you really need to pay close attention to and watch out for. And if you see that there aren't any changes, you either accept them as they are or you move on. Now, a relationship in which you or the other person are constantly in competition of who is more in control is not really a healthy relationship. A healthy partnership is about two people being as equal as possible. Another pattern that is seen in relationships is when sometimes a partner makes a mistake, and I'm not saying a huge mistake which can destroy the relationship, I'm talking about small mistakes. If you're in a relationship where there isn't any forgiveness and there isn't any forgetting, and all past hurts are constantly being brought up just to hurt one another, then this is a relationship which you either need to go to counseling together or you need to walk away from, because people in relationships make mistakes. Humans are fallible, so you have to be able to forgive your partner or your family member for small mistakes. But if, of course, these mistakes are huge and the person isn't accountable and the person isn't understanding that things that they are doing may be hurting you, then in that case it is wise to walk away. Lastly, a relationship in which you feel that your needs and wants are ignored. Again, this is something that isn't obviously going to be making you very happy. This isn't going to be a fulfilling relationship. Then this partner is probably not for you. Now, in order to let go, you have to accept and admit to yourself that the other person is dysfunctional or irrational, and that no matter what you say, do, or demand, you will not be able to control or change this reality. You have to accept that there is only one thing you can change in your life, and that is you. All other things in your life are things that you are not able to control or change. So how do you let go of a toxic relationship? To let go is not to enable, but to allow the other person to learn from natural consequences. To let go means that you admit powerlessness, which means that the outcome is not in your hands. To let go is not to try to change or blame another person, but it's to make the most of yourself. To let go is not to care for, but to care about. To let go is not to fix, but to be supportive. To let go is not to judge, but to allow another to be a human being. To let go is not to be in the middle arranging all the outcomes, but to allow others to affect their own destinies. To let go is not to be protective, it's to permit another to face reality. To let go is not to deny, but to accept. To let go is not to nag, scold, or argue, but instead to search out for your own shortcomings and correct them. To let go is not to criticize and regulate anybody, but to try to become what you dream that you can be. To let go is not to adjust everything to your desires, but to take each day as it comes and cherish yourself in it. To let go is to not regret the past, but to grow and live for the future. To let go is to fear less and love yourself more. So to let go or to detach is a very useful thing, and everybody will reach a point in their life where they have to let go of a relationship, whether that is a partner or whether it's a friendship or whether it's a relationship with a family member. There are unfortunately toxic relationships, and you need to be aware of when to let go or emotionally detach. So that's the end of the video, everyone. Thanks very much for watching and for listening. Please feel free to leave comments and send me an email if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Take care. Have a lovely day wherever you are, and see you very soon. Bye.